In this video, you'll discover the hidden truths behind the best-selling book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and why some consider it to have a dark side. Many readers have followed Robert Kiyosaki's advice without questioning its validity, leading to financial pitfalls and misunderstandings about wealth. The book has been hailed as a revolutionary guide to building wealth, but beneath the surface, some of its concepts can be misleading. By blindly following Kiyosaki's advice, readers may find themselves stuck in a cycle of debt or financial frustration. The reality is that creating wealth is not as simple as just following a few guidelines. Financial success requires a deep understanding of personal finance, investing, and economics. Unfortunately, Rich Dad, Poor Dad oversimplifies these complex topics, leading many to make costly mistakes. Kiyosaki's approach is often criticized for being too focused on real estate investing, neglecting other essential aspects of personal finance. Reveal the most controversial aspects of Kiyosaki's teachings, including the legitimacy of his Rich Dad and the potential risks of his advice. One of the most hotly debated topics surrounding Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the existence and identity of Kiyosaki's Rich Dad. Many have questioned whether this figure is based on a real person or simply a fictional character created to illustrate Kiyosaki's points. This controversy has led some to doubt the credibility of Kiyosaki's advice and the authenticity of his story. Moreover, some of Kiyosaki's teachings, such as the encouragement to take on high levels of debt to finance investments, have been criticized for being reckless and irresponsible. His advice to focus solely on building wealth without considering the social and environmental implications has also drawn criticism. By analyzing these controversies, it's clear that Kiyosaki's teachings are not without their flaws and limitations. Reveal the most controversial aspects of Kiyosaki's teachings, including the legitimacy of his Rich Dad and the potential risks of his advice. Many have criticized Kiyosaki's lack of transparency and accountability, particularly when it comes to his business dealings and investing strategies. His emphasis on quick wealth-building schemes and get-rich-quick mentality has been accused of promoting a culture of greed and materialism. Furthermore, Kiyosaki's views on taxation and government have been labeled as simplistic and misguided. By understanding these controversies, it's essential to approach Rich Dad, Poor Dad with a critical eye and recognize that its teachings are not inherently superior or universally applicable. Here are some points to help you understand this better. 1. Oversimplification of financial success. The central premise of Rich Dad, Poor Dad is that financial success can be achieved by simply buying assets and avoiding liabilities. While this mantra is appealing due to its simplicity, it oversimplifies the intricate process of wealth building, creating unrealistic expectations for readers. Kiyosaki broadly defines assets as things that drain income and liabilities as things that drain income. For instance, he claims that a personal home is a liability because it doesn't directly generate cash flow. However, this definition ignores nuances. Real estate often appreciates over time, and owning a home can provide long-term stability and savings compared to renting. Additionally, classifying other investments like stocks or businesses as assets is not always straightforward. A stock that seems like a good asset could lose value, and a business might require continuous investment without yielding profits. Moreover, the idea that anyone can become wealthy by following this formula ignores the role of economic and social factors. Wealth building is influenced by market conditions, access to capital, and sometimes sheer luck. For example, someone investing in real estate during a booming market might profit, but those investing during a downturn, like the 2008 crisis, could face significant losses. Kiyosaki's teachings do not prepare readers for these complexities, leaving them vulnerable to failures they might not anticipate. This oversimplification also assumes that individuals can easily identify and act on opportunities. However, identifying a profitable asset requires expertise, research, and often a significant initial investment. Beginners, who are the primary audience for the book, might lack the financial literacy or resources to make informed decisions. Ultimately, while the book's advice provides a motivational framework, it does not equip readers with the tools to navigate the unpredictable realities of wealth building. The idea of buying assets and avoiding liabilities is useful but insufficient, requiring deeper understanding and strategic planning to be truly effective. 2. unrealistic emphasis on entrepreneurship. In Rich Dad Poor Dad, Kiyosaki strongly advocates entrepreneurship as the ideal path to financial freedom, often dismissing traditional jobs as a rat race. While entrepreneurship can lead to wealth, the book's blanket promotion of this approach is unrealistic and potentially harmful for many readers. Kiyosaki glorifies the idea of leaving a secure job to start a business or invest in passive income streams. However, the reality is that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. It requires a unique combination of skills, resources, and risk tolerance that many individuals may not possess. For instance, successful entrepreneurs often have access to capital, networks, and expertise that allow them to navigate challenges. Most people starting a business lack these advantages, making them vulnerable to failure. Statistics show that approximately 90% of startups fail within their first 5 years. These failures often result in financial losses, debt, and even emotional burnout. Kiyosaki's advice to embrace risks and reject the security of a job doesn't address these potential downsides. For a middle-class individual supporting a family, the consequences of a failed business venture can be devastating. Furthermore, Kiyosaki undervalues the stability and benefits that traditional jobs provide. Jobs offer consistent income, health insurance, retirement benefits, and opportunities for skill development. For many people, a stable job is a practical and reliable way to achieve financial security. Encouraging everyone to abandon this stability in pursuit of entrepreneurship overlooks these critical advantages. While a tributary path can be a rewarding path, it is not the only way to achieve financial success. By presenting it as the ultimate solution, the book sets unrealistic expectations and may lead readers to make reckless decisions without fully understanding the challenges involved. 3. Lack of concrete guidance. One of the most significant criticisms of Rich Dad Poor Dad is its lack of actionable, step-by-step guidance. While the book is motivational and provides broad principles like buy assets and avoid liabilities, it does not offer practical advice on how to implement these concepts, especially for beginners. For example, Kiyosaki emphasizes the importance of financial education, but does not outline how readers can acquire it. Terms like assets and liabilities are explained conceptually, but not in practical detail. A beginner might struggle to identify which stocks, properties, or businesses are genuinely profitable assets. Without clear guidance, they risk making poor decisions or feeling overwhelmed. Additionally, the book lacks a roadmap for building wealth from scratch. Kiyosaki frequently mentions investing in real estate, but he doesn't explain how to evaluate properties, secure financing, or manage risks. Similarly, he advocates for stock investments without discussing market analysis, portfolio diversification, or strategies to mitigate losses. For someone with limited resources or financial literacy, this vague advice is unhelpful and potentially misleading. While motivational advice like learn to take risks or develop financial literacy is inspiring, it doesn't address the real challenges that readers might face. Beginners need practical tools, such as budgeting strategies, investment tips, and examples of small, achievable steps to start their financial journey. The lack of such guidance makes the book feel more like a motivational speech than a comprehensive financial guide. 4. Questionable ethical stance. Kiyosaki's teachings in Rich Dad Poor Dad often prioritize wealth building over ethical considerations, which raises concerns about the social implications of his advice. For instance, the book encourages tax avoidance strategies through corporations and other legal loopholes. While technically legal, these practices are ethically questionable, as they shift the tax burden onto lower income groups. Kiyosaki also advocates for buying foreclosed properties or undervalued assets, often profiting from the financial struggles of others. While this may be a sound financial strategy, it ignores the moral implications of exploiting someone else's misfortune. For example, purchasing a foreclosed home might benefit the buyer, but it often comes at the expense of families who lose their homes due to financial crises. By focusing solely on individual wealth creation, the book neglects broader social responsibilities. This self-centered approach can encourage readers to prioritize personal gain over community well-being, potentially fostering a mindset of greed and exploitation. While financial success is important, it should not come at the expense of ethical principles and social equity. 5. Romanticizing financial risk. One of the recurring themes in Rich Dad, Poor Dad is the glorification of risk-taking. Kiyosaki frequently states that avoiding risks keeps people in their comfort zones and prevents them from achieving financial freedom. While this advice is motivational, it fails to address the practical consequences of financial risks. For many individuals, especially those with limited resources, taking significant financial risks can be detrimental. Investing in real estate, stocks, or a business often requires substantial capital, and a single failure can lead to devastating losses. For instance, if someone uses their savings to invest in a risky venture and it fails, they could face debt, stress, and long-term financial instability. Kiyosaki's emphasis on risk-taking also promotes an all-or-nothing mindset, suggesting that those who play it safe are destined to remain poor. This oversimplified narrative ignores the importance of balanced decision-making. Successful investors and entrepreneurs do take risks, but they also carefully assess and manage those risks. Additionally, the book focuses only on success stories, ignoring the countless individuals who took similar risks and failed. This survivorship bias creates an unrealistic picture of wealth building, leading readers to underestimate the potential downsides of risk-taking. While calculated risks are essential for growth, romanticizing risk-taking without addressing its potential consequences is both irresponsible and misleading. Conclusion. Rich Dad, Poor Dad remains one of the most popular financial books of all time, inspiring millions to rethink their approach to money and wealth. Its core message of achieving financial independence through assets and passive income is undeniably motivating. However, a critical analysis reveals significant gaps and limitations in its advice. The book's tendency to oversimplify complex financial principles creates unrealistic expectations for readers, especially beginners. Its promotion of entrepreneurship as the ultimate path to success overlooks the diversity of individual circumstances and the inherent challenges of starting and sustaining a business. Furthermore, the lack of detailed, actionable guidance leaves many readers inspired but unsure of where to begin or how to apply the lessons in their unique situations. Ethical considerations also play a crucial role in evaluating the book's philosophy. Kiyosaki's focus on tax avoidance and profit maximization, often at the expense of others, raises moral questions. While the pursuit of wealth is a legitimate goal, it should be balanced with a sense of responsibility towards society. Lastly, the glorification of risk-taking without adequately addressing its potential downsides can mislead readers into making reckless financial decisions that might jeopardize their long-term security. While Rich Dad, Poor Dad is a powerful motivational tool, it should not be treated as a comprehensive financial guide. Readers must approach its teachings critically, combining its principles with practical knowledge, personal research, and a clear understanding of their own circumstances. Financial success is not a one-size-fits-all journey. It requires careful planning, continuous learning, and a balanced approach to risk and ethics. The book can serve as a starting point for rethinking financial goals, but the path to true financial freedom lies in thoughtful, informed, and ethical decision-making. If you found this video insightful, check out my other videos on personal finance and share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you.